Guys, there are spoilers for this film and this review. So if you don't want to end up prey, go watch the film and come back. You have been warned.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron TMHD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron TMHD, and this week we watched Predator Badlands, the new Dan Trachtenberg film starring Elle Fanning and Dimitrius, a New Zealand actor. I am sorry, man, I cannot say your last name, and I do not want to butcher it. This film is an action-adventure coming-of-age film. And I will say, this film was very enjoyable. I very much enjoyed it. I really liked the action, I really liked the story, I really liked the dynamic of the characters. But, before I go on a whole tangent, why I like this film, I'll tell you why I like this film and more. Back to the house.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron TMHD, and this week we watched Predator Badlands, the newest installment in the Predator franchise. It was directed and co-written by Dan Trachtenberg. I don't know, I'm sorry. I definitely didn't say that right. And starring, talking about not getting names right, Elle Fanning and Dimitrius Schuster Koloamatangi? I'm very sorry. He's from New Zealand. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. However, let's get into this film. This film is a action-adventure, a bit of a coming-of-age story as well. This film, I believe, is a very big departure from the usual Predator film. I do feel like it still has the qualities that would make up a good Predator film. I mean, you got the Predator kicking ass hunting things, you got gore, blood, and, just action. Right, usually if you watch a Predator movie, you expect some high-octane hunting action, if you catch my drift. But, I do think, no, not I think, I know, this is a first for the franchise, for it to have a Predator itself, a Yacha? I'm very sorry, I probably didn't say that right, as the main character, as the lead, because usually they're the antagonist, the villain. Even though they're named after, like, the movies, they're the titular character. Even though they're the titular character, they're never the protagonist, right? They're always the they're the direct antagonist. This one, however, he's like a young, he's not even technically, like, a predator yet. He's, like, still in training, he's like, smaller, he's a runt. He's not, seen as strong. They see him as weakness, and they see him as, like, I guess, a liability for the clan, because he could bring, like, shame upon them for being the runt, for being weak and small, and not what a real, predator should be. And I think that, like, the driving force of the story is obviously him trying to prove himself, but I think it's also about him trying to obviously get revenge for his father, not only trying to kill him, but also killing his brother, right? I think, obviously, it's a bit of a revenge story in that sense. At first, obviously, he was trying to legitimately hunt this really hard-to-kill creature, right? He was really trying to get him, but eventually, he kind of realized that he kind of didn't want to, right? And I think we'll get into that. He kind of, like, he learns that instead of just going with tradition and what you think is right, he goes with, with people, instead of trying to impress somebody by going with them, by, like, conforming, he goes with the people that care about him. He gets a group. He gets, obviously, a Wayland-Yutani synthetic, who is named Thea, played by Elle Fanning. And I think she is very entertaining and a very good character on her own, like in her own right. And I think also I really love their dynamic and how they're basically exact opposites. Deck, which is the name of Dimitrius's character, we're just gonna leave it at that. His character, Deck, the main character, he is kind of like really stoic. You know, he's like really, he's stubborn and he's very, I guess, just kind of, what's the word? He's kind of, what's the word for like he's like a party pooper a little bit. I guess he's like, he kind of is though. He's like really, is he like blunt maybe, or is he like, oh, what's the word? You know the word I'm looking for? It's like on the tip of my tongue. I don't know. He's just kind of, I guess, serious. I guess is true to say he's serious business, right? He doesn't really joke around all that much. But obviously, the synthetic, she is very like upbeat and bubbly, and she's super talkative, right? And like he's just like kind of trying to do the hunt, and the whole time she's just like yapping up a storm, right? She's just like asking all these questions and like talking all the time, but you can kind of tell she kind of brings out like some like parts of him that he probably didn't even know that he had, right? I mean, there's actually a lot of good moments in this, but I really like the like jokey moments between them, but I also think there's an interesting moment where like she shows him like genuine kindness, right? Like she genuinely cares about him, but there's at one point where she like smiles at him and she's just being nice to him, and he kind of looks like taken aback by it, like he doesn't know what to do because he's probably never experienced actual kindness that wasn't from his brother, right? No, like, I mean, his family absolutely didn't treat him well. I mean, his father literally tried to get his brother to murder him, right? His father probably wasn't the nicest guy, which we can see clearly from the movie. So having somebody treat him with kindness just kind of, I guess, made him surprised and, I guess, unsure of how to feel. Which is interesting. It's interesting to see the perspective of a predator, right? Because we never really got in their head. We never really got to know their philosophy all that much because they've never been a protagonist before. So I think this film, like, really introducing, like, what's going on in the head of a predator and how they, like, think. Because I think this is the most of predators talked in anything I've ever seen. Obviously, being a protagonist, he has to talk a lot. You can't have, like, a voiceless protagonist, right? That just doesn't work. Unless it's, like, a very specific kind of movie, right? With that being said, the comedic moments I also thought were really strong. I think one of my favorite moments where they introduced this children's toy that his brother had kept on his ship as like memories, right? And later in the movie, he gets captured by Weyland-Yutani, and they're going to put the Thea into a box and basically like ship her away, right? Because she's, you know, thinking emotionally, she's not really thinking to completing the mission for Weyland-Yutani, right? She's not putting the company first. So essentially, he tells her, like, he speaks in his language, and obviously most of the other synths don't know what he's saying. So he tells her to tell him that it's a map, but it's actually a children's toy. And then he tells her to, like, for him to, like, open it. And when he opens it, it fucking explodes and blows him up. And she's like, that's a children's toy? And he's like, for Yacha children. And it's like, they're just built different. The predators are just built different. I love that. That's really great. And in character for the alien species that they are. That a children's toy would literally just be a fucking bomb. I think that's great. And there's just a lot of little moments like that of, like, you know, little character moments that are really charming and really nice. And I really do like the central trio of the film. And obviously, when I saw this film, I thought it was just going to be a duo. But no, there's a trio. And it's this little creature. They're what are they called? The Balisk? Is that what they were called? It's a little... Oh, spoilers, obviously. You don't know this at the beginning, but it's a Balisk child. And I really like his dynamic as well, even though I think it's a she, I think. Either way, doesn't matter. it has a very nice relationship with the two characters. I mean, it saves them, and then they save it, and then it just really helps them out the entire film. It's just it's a really helpful and really nice little thing. I think one of my favorite moments with it is at a campfire. They're like all three around a campfire, and it's copying everything that Deck is doing. Like when he's stretching, and when he's like putting rocks down, it puts rocks down and it stretches, and it makes the same noises that he does. When he gets out his sword, like his laser sword, like I don't know, it's a laser sword. It's weird. And then when it gets the laser sword, it gets a stick and it sets it on fire so that it can replicate the laser. It's again, there's just a lot of really charming character moments. And I always love how, even though, like, even in a Predator movie, it doesn't matter whether it's an alien movie or not, whenever Weyland-Yutani is involved, they're always the real bad guys. I just always think that's really, really entertaining. You might have all these man-eating monsters and stuff like that, and, like, killer aliens, but Weyland-Yutani are the real evil they're the evil corporation trying to take over the galaxy, or trying to, use humans and whatever as guinea pigs, and they're generally pretty corrupt, which makes sense. A giant space mega corporation I don't think would really have anybody's best interests at heart. However, I've just been kind of rambling about this movie, but I very much did enjoy it, and I think it is a very welcoming change to the Predator and Alien franchise, because I feel like I could also, maybe not, it's not an Alien movie, but it has Weyland-Yutani in it, right? That's not a Predator thing, that's an Alien thing. I think this is the first time actually in an Alien or Predator movie, like a standalone one of the movie of those franchises, where they incorporate, like, it's a crossover, but it's not an Alien versus Predator movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the first time they've done that, where it's not just like an Easter egg, it's an actual, like, part of the plot. Because obviously in Predator 2 they had the Xenomorph skull, but they're not part of the plot, that's just an Easter egg. But you couldn't have the movie without Weyland-Yutani in this. But I just wanted to mention that. With that being said, all that being said, would I recommend this movie? Absolutely. I mean, even if you've never seen the Predator films, or any of the Alien films, I don't think you really have to necessarily. I think it works really well on its own, and I think it develops the concepts from these movies well enough to the point where you don't really need to know, you don't need to have knowledge. I mean, is it nice to have knowledge? Have you seen the other movies and, seeing all this stuff? Yeah, but you don't need it. And I think that really helps with, maybe you could watch this and then want to watch the other Predator movies or want to watch the other Alien movies. I really think this is a very strong film for anybody, action film fans, coming of age fans, of course. Even obviously Predator and Alien fans. I just think this is a great movie that anybody can get enjoyment out of. And if you're worried about like gore and stuff, it's a Predator movie. I don't know why you would be worried about that. You probably aren't. I'm just saying, if you are, you shouldn't be, because it's whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, what would I rate this film? I would recommend it, and I think I would rate this film a 7.5 out of 10. And yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So guys, I hope you like this video. Share it with friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment about y'all liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say. So if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike, and change hate me in the comments. And I've been Dimitrius. Off to hunt? Am I like, is that a good one? Off to hunt. That's what I'm gonna do. Pew, pew.
I was watching this movie, right? And the whole time, I'm like, wow, it was like, it just surprises me it took this long for a Predator film to have the Predator, Ayacha, as a main character. And I thought that was cool. I also think it's funny how apparently people were saying that this movie was like, oh, it's the bad part of feminism, feminization in movies. And it's like, she's technically not a woman or a man. She's a robot. And robots don't have genders. The robots. I'm just saying, just throwing my hat into the ring. Leave it down in the comments. Can robots have genders? Let me know in the comments.